my question is on that translation for 1870. We said that the dialogue of ours that is unopposed to dharma, right? But why that statement is there? Why unopposed to dharma?
Because it is Smriti, Bhagavad Gita is not Veda. And Smriti has to be unopposed to Shruti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam. So for us, Smriti is also important. But Smriti, there is a risk that Smriti is not saying exactly what Shruti is saying. So there is that risk, and therefore, my guess, this is my interpretation. That is why Krishna is saying Dharmyam, because so that's the answer. That's the answer I want to give. And maybe because also Dharma Sammuda Chetaha. So Arjuna used the word Dharma. Arjuna didn't say moksha. You please teach me moksha and all, he didn't say. He only talked about Dharma. Neither did he want Artha and Kama also. He didn't talk about Artha Kama. He's talking about Dharma. And so maybe that's another reason. Okay, I will.
But if you look at this sloka by itself, then that context may be okay. But having Arjuna listened to right from beginning, I was wondering why that unopposed dharma comes. If you look at this in isolation,
unopposed to the teaching of the Veda. That's what I like.
Okay.
Unopposed to the teaching of the Veda. Yeah, correct. So a teacher, it is like, I know your concern. Your concern is the teacher is teaching something. So let's say mathematics. I taught you mathematics, which is correct, which is not wrong. Okay, it's odd to say something like that. Okay, it's odd to say that. But yeah, this here, dharmat anapetam. The way to read it is, it's not opposed to the original teachings. That's the way. This Vedic teaching.
Another thing is, you talked about the mentor pilot. I experienced that years ago when I was coming from India to Houston. From via Frankfurt. Me and my daughter were on the flight. The flight could not land in Houston because of thunderstorm, and we landed in Ellington Field. You know where Ellington Field is? It's a very tiny, small airport, and it's mostly used for military purpose. And we couldn't get out of the plane. They couldn't refuel it because they don't have the connectors for a 747 those days. The reason it landed was to waiting for the storm to pass over. Then they took off, but then you cannot straight away go to the Bush airport because it is too short. So they have to gain height, so they go far and then come back. But normally when the tailwind is high, generally they reverse the runway and land. That is the normal practice. So suppose they are landing from south to north, they will do north to south. So I just, because it happened to me 2 months ago in New York, in LaGuardia Airport, it happened to me. All of a sudden, all the planes were asked to take out from the other direction.
Correct. Now, this happened. The mentor pilot, just to finish the story.
Yeah, so that's
diverted airport. He lands. 777 lands, and then he doesn't land. What is it called? It's called something.
Yeah, it just
aborted landing.
Huh?
Aborted landing.
Not aborted landing.
Not aborted landing. There is a term for it. It's called It's called a technical term. And he just comes, but then he doesn't land. Just comes down,
Right.
and then he goes up, and then he says, now the aircraft is shooting up like a rocket.
Yeah.
Fuel is running out, okay, shooting up a rocket. Then he did what you just said, which is he does the opposite. Opposite, because now the wind direction is changing so rapidly. And so he says coming back is the best way. And then he comes back, and then he doesn't land again. And this becomes, now it becomes an emergency. And so then that's why he explains what an emergency is. Until it's an emergency, you can't land in Ellington or all that. Military airstrips,
Yeah,
all they
yeah.
can't.
No.
When it's an emergency, Mayday, they have to say Mayday. Mayday, if they say, then priority changes completely in whatnot.
Before
They
that,
somehow managed to land and stayed
before
there.
that, they have to do
So-
fuel recharge also.
Sorry, Ramuji?
Before that, they have to do fuel discharge also.
That also is there. Yeah.
It is only when it is full of fuel, not in this time. They don't discharge fuel. Because they have to conserve fuel.
Good. Yeah, Vaidya, go ahead.
Anyway,
Thank you.
thought, I know it's not relevant to the class, but since you mentioned it.
Right. No, I mean, that's the experience. I'm sure your daughter also will remember it even now. So that's a tough one. So you probably are one of the few who went to Ellington Airport. We only seen it in Google Map. Okay.
My
That is
niece
the only
having
time I've been to Ellington Airport.
my niece having such an
That is the only time I've landed in Ellington Airport.
One person, please talk.
my niece having experienced such an event. She never climbs in the aircraft now. Phobia.
Yeah. Vaidya, go ahead.
Ekmanji, namaste. So coming back to the verse, so Kachit is just a question-like thing, as what does Kachit literally mean?
Yeah, that's what I said. Kachit is indeclinable. It's called Avyayam in Sanskrit, and it means it indicates a sense of doubt. Indicates a sense of doubt, and you can translate it as whether or not. Whether or not.
Kaschit and Kenachit.
Kenachit is different. Kenachit is by what? By what thing? By what method, like that? Kenachit is different, very specific meaning. Kena kaschit. Kaschit is kaha, somebody, some person is kaschit. Kachit, some person, feminine gender. So this is entirely different. Kachit is entirely different.
Dhanyawad.
So it can be translated as whether, you're saying?
Whether or not.
Huh?
Whether or not. How do you put that?
Okay.
Or not. Whether or not, I think that's what you should say.
All right. And then the other word that you mentioned, kaschit. Kaschit means any, right? Any
Correct.
or
Somebody.
some. Okay.
Kaschit. Somebody.
Hmm.
Some person. Any person also you can say. Kaschit.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ekmanji.
So there what happens? The chit adds on to any of the words which are used in the noun form of a person. Kaha. Okay. Kaha is singular. Suppose it's plural, then kechit. Some people. Kechit. Kaha kauke. Kenachit. By somebody. All that will come. It's interesting.
So kechit will be K will be plural. Many people.
Some people. Previously, some person.
Some people. Okay.
Not many, some.
Okay. But the people in plural, that is Kechit.
Yeah.
Okay, got it now. Thank you.
Yeah. Raji.
Mahodaya, in 71, in your translation, you use the word one who recites. What is the Sanskrit word in the shloka 71 for recites?
70 or 71?
71. Shraddhavan anusuyascha shrunuyadapi me naraha. In the translation, you use the word one who recites.
So that comes in 70, 70, Haraprasadji. So, adhyeshyate cha ya imam. So there I said, Puja Swami's translation is studies or recites. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. It is 70 in my notes. Okay, yeah.
Now, in 71, you said the one who studies, oh, I see, it is 70 then.
Correct.
Okay.
Adhyeshyate. So that word adhyeshyate gives room for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shimatam.
Hmm.
Yeah. Dhanyavadaha.
Himaji.
That கச்சித் வந்து கொஞ்சமாவதுன்னு அந்த மாதிரி அர்த்தம் வருமா? அட்லீஸ்ட் சம் ஆஃப் இட் நோ. கத்தி எல்லாம் இருக்கு இல்லையா, அதுக்கு குவான்டிஃபைங் நம்பர் மாதிரி இருக்கே. ஸோ இட் வில் நாட் கம் இன் தட் மீனிங்.
I've not seen that kind of meaning. It is.
சாதாரணமா டீச்சர் கேட்பாங்க, நான் சொன்னதுல கொஞ்சமாவது உனக்கு புரிஞ்சுதான்னு.
அதெல்லாம் வேற, அதெல்லாம் இருக்கட்டும். Kachit has no quantity at all in it.
Okay.
No quantity. It has the sense of implying a desire to know and clarify this doubt when there are alternatives.
So it is kat plus chit, இல்லையா?
Correct. Kat chit.
Kat plus chit. So
it could be related to Kataranno Gari Yaha, like that Arjuna had said. Yashreyasyan nishchitam ruhitan me shishyas
Nachaitad vidmah kataranno gariyaha.
Kataranno Gari Yaha. Correct.
Yadvad.
So there may be some relation. You may want to check Hemaji.
so ஏன்னா கத்தி எல்லாம் இருக்கு இல்லையா, not related to that.
Katarat and all those words are there in Sanskrit.
Kati is also there, இல்லையா? கத்தினாக்கா உம்மனி.
Kati irukku, but here there's no quantity. I'm saying you have to do a little bit of research.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, Swapnaji.
Namaste. This is regarding meditation today. So you started with the 13th chapter, 3rd verse, right? Kshetrajna chapi mam vidhi. So, disclaimer, there were points where I just got lost. When there are too many words, it's so hard to, I don't know, it's hard to focus and to grasp everything. And then I have to tell myself to relax and not to get everything. So there's a struggle all the time going on. But just to understand the gist of what you helped us guide through is you made us imagine the dream, right? So I in the dream and the person, the dreamer, is the same. Is that what was?
So there is, I in the dream. Did you say I in the dream? And
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was you said?
Yeah. The I in the dream and the dreamer who's dreaming.
Right. So the I in the dream, rather, there is a person. I am also there in my dream.
Mm-hmm.
There is a small entity here in the dream where I am sitting in class, right? That person is there. And that I, okay, and the whole dreamer's I, this body, Stula Shariram that's dreaming, both are identical. Correct. Correct. And not only that, everybody's I is identical.
Say that again, please.
Everybody's I is identical
Hmm.
because it is the same dreamer's I. Yeah. And so, and the entire universe also is that same I. Look at how we are stretching it. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Universe also is sustained by the same Satyam, Jnanam. Okay. So that the dream example is very powerful to appreciate that.
I got another example I just see is that the reflecting mirrors in the barber shops.
Ah,
See, you see the same presentation, reflection, 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 it goes back and forth.
okay.
So that also can be extended to this example. Two mirrors face to face, and you in the center, all are similar and identical.
All right. All right. You like that example? Yeah, sure. Use it.
So the follow-up question is, so the transition from this this guided meditation to the japa, what's the connection? How what is it that when during japa, what do I need to focus on? The japa itself, so it is helping me focus one-pointedness. Yeah, what is the transition? What is the
Right. The ideal transition is this. You think about this fact. I appreciate that I pervade the entire dream, number one. And just like I pervade the entire dream world, I pervade the entire waking world also. Okay, I didn't say it before the japa, I said it after the japa. I could have said it before itself. Okay. And then I appreciate, I soak that appreciation for some time. Then when the japa starts, there is no longer a focus on that appreciation. Okay, in this case, japa is japa only. Om Krishnaya Namaha. Om Krishnaya Namaha. Now the mind is only saying Om Krishnaya Namaha. It's not thinking about all this Bhagavad Gita and all that. Krishnaya Namaha. Just pause. Om Krishnaya Namaha. Pause. Then the absorption will come. That thing that you thought about before is there already. That thought is very much there. But I don't force myself to think and all that stuff. No. Thinking is not expected during japa. Otherwise, the mind will wander. So you just focus on japa. So the preamble is there, and then you get Thanks, Sri Krishna, for passing on this teaching to me. I surrender myself completely to that teaching, to Sri Krishna, and then I start doing my japa. That was what I intended in today morning's yeah.
Dhanyavada.
Yeah. So another question is there while the talk of meditation comes. What about breathing? During japa, how should my breathing be? The questions can come because mind is wandering. Am I breathing too fast? Is it shallow? All these questions can come. Japa, when you're doing japa, do japa. Don't worry about breathing at all. Let breathing be. You already set up your thing, whatever it is there. That's all. You don't have to say, no, first 2 japas I have to do inhaling. Then another 3 japas I have to hold. And then 4 more japas I have to exhale. These things are all not needed. Not needed, and it will go off in another direction. So just japa means japa. Everything will be normalized. And you're welcome to Reset your breathing periodically.
Thank you for saying that, because I do the japa every day, and one day I found myself rushing, right, so fast, and then I should stop. I had exactly the same thing. No, I should stop. I should take a breath, and then when I'm exhaling, I need to say the japa. So I was focused on that. Breathe in, and then while releasing, you say the japa. So I did that. So prana vikshana is what is said, right? When you focus on the breath. So I don't know, and so that way my japa is also slow. I'm not rushing. But Jacomaji, I felt that is more helpful than when I was just saying, fast, because I was finding my mind not centering, like not was easily distracted. So this way, I am paying attention to my breath, at least the inhalation, and the exhalation is just focus on the japa, pause, and then inhalation, exhalation, japa, and pause. And so I find it valuable and more meaningful. So.
Good, good. Now do it. Follow it. Follow it. Follow it. That's why we don't make too many comments about dhyana, because for it to work is the best thing. And if it works for you, yeah, Viran Narayan.
Guruji, in 72, it is pranashtaste, right? Whereas prana is the pranashyati is prana. The natvam doesn't apply here. Pranash.
So I put a question here to ask all of you to do some homework. Why natvam is not happening here? So you asked it. So find out the answer and let me know in WhatsApp.
Okay. About japa, Guruji, when we were in our yoga school, that Patanjali gives all the techniques to make sure that the mind doesn't get distracted. And finally, he gives a sutra saying, Ishvara pranidhanadva. If you are not able to do any of these things, at least imagine Ishvara to be in the heart, and with the breath and japa, literally as though you are doing a puja, offer it to the center like a puja. So that helps, at least it has helped me. Maybe I thought I should discuss if it can help others. The attitude behind the japa also is important, right? So inhaling, and then as you are doing the japa, inhaling, gathering all the thoughts and the distractions, and exhaling, offering it at the altar of Ishvara, probably center of heart or anywhere. And that helps a lot. That helps to settle down, calm down.
Correct. Correct.
Even during asanas, this is a very good technique.
So we also do that. I mean, like in my practice, what we do is that initially you try to get your breath under control. Breath under control meaning that you want inhalation, exhalation to be sama. So one of the methods to do that is to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the problem with counting is the speed of counting can change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're still counting 5, but the paces are different. So we say that you do mantra sahita, japa sahita breathing or mantra sahita breathing, where you don't have too much of play to stretch or compress the chant. So say Om Namah Shivaya. Continue to be Om Namah Shivaya. So inhalation is Om Namah Shivaya, exhalation is Om Namah Shivaya. You say start with Panchakshara, go to Ashtakshara, go to Dwadashakshara, depending on your breathing capacity. So then when you have now stabilized your breathing, then we say that keep the image of your Ishtadevata in your mind. Every inhalation and every exhalation is a Pushpanjali.
Correct.
I was talking about not this, because many of them, when they are doing their asana, it may not be possible for them to regularize their breath. What I was talking about was, as you're inhaling, there are 1001 thoughts which come up. You gather all that, And as you're exhaling, offer it at the altar of Ishvara, anywhere. You can set it at the center of the heart. Use it with the mantra. That way, it has benefited. That's what I was trying to, because sometimes what happens is when you are doing asanas, when you get into asanas, generally the breath regulation is not there. It becomes difficult even to say the mantra and hold on to the breath. It becomes a pranayama practice or a breathing practice. Then the mind is constantly distracted, how many counts, and it gets distracted with whether I was able to do it and all that. This is nothing to do with that. It is just gathering all your thoughts and just offering it at the altar of Ishvara with the japa. It really helps.
Yeah.
Both
Correct.
chapters are yajnas.
Yajna. So it's an yajna. Whatever, everything you've said is all yajna only. And so offering, constantly offering. And all of that will work. So I said, what works for you is very precious. Let it work for you.
Personalized.
Yeah.
It's always subjective and personalized. What works for one but need not work for the other.
Be comfortable with one. We will never say, don't do this, don't do that. Or we never say, rarely. Because then don't do this will become a problem. Oh, Guruji told me not to do this, but I'm doing it. Then the problem. So we never.
It's a famous statement of Swami Vivekananda. No single coat for everyone.
No single?
Coat, dress, shirt, like that.
Oh, no single shirt for everyone.
Because the feedback what I have got through the friends also is when they are doing the asanas, this helps because asana generally when they come on the mat, it is either you are comparing with others or you are comparing with your own body, which is subjected to change. So I tell them this is not going to help because you'll constantly be in a, in a fight with the body or the thoughts. So just get everything like as though you're sweeping the room and just offer it at the altar of Ishvara. Just keep doing that.
So
And that's why one of the preparatory steps Krishna suggests is that Bahyan Sparshan Bahikritva. That's why I asked in the class the other day that if anybody new is joining, I wanted to be sure to orient them first. Okay. So nobody joined when we started the class. And so I continue to do. But Vakyan Sparshan Bahikritva, what you do is you really bring up all your concerns, you bring it up. Let it be there. Okay, I'm not running away from it. The basic psychology is. Bring up all your fears, everything, and say, it's all there. And slowly you ask them, you offer it to the altar of my Ishvara, Guru, and say, okay, allow me to be myself for half an hour. You allow me. All my fears, you ask your fears to allow me. Then the fear will say, okay, all right, I'll do that. So, Ahyan Parshan Bahikritva. Very interesting. Simple, small phrases here and there Krishna puts. There's a lot of meaning.
Yeah, the beauty of it is when your day-to-day life activities also are happening, initially it is the thoughts are coming and you're using the same technique, just offer and move on. After some time, it stops coming. The distractions are not there because it has been cleared. So you're always in connect with yourself. That's the beauty of it. That's the progression. That's what Patanjali also is saying. Ishvara Pranidhanadva. The interesting thing is it gives so many techniques for the mind, Pratipaksha Bhavanam and all that. And finally it comes, if nothing is there, at least do this.
The funny portion, the other the other portion is anything that you keep doing repeatedly in the brain, it's pushed to the lower part of the brain where things happen automatically. So the upper portion of the brain, what we call as a cortical brain, is where you need to get engaged. You have to be aware. Awareness and engagement happens. It is like the way you learn to drive a vehicle or a car. Initially, when you started to learn, you're fully focused on where is the gear, where is the pedal, where is the steering, where is the turn. After some time, you are on the phone and you're driving the car with one hand or with no hand also. That is because it's gone to the lower portion of the brain. The lower portion of the brain takes care of all automatic activities. So in Japan also that happens. Initially, you are aware what you are doing. After that, it goes to the lower part of the brain. Then the upper part of the brain is free to roam around and gather whatever it wants to gather.
But this is not that. This is a progression. This is
that is one of the
this-
challenges in
yeah,
Japan.
that is a challenge, but this is a progression. What I am talking about, that there is a pure connect with that calmness. There is a connect which the person has developed. So there is no scope for, because it's clear. The things have been, the impulsions have started reducing. You know, with this practice, impulsions of thought process have started reducing. It's not something where it is stored and it is going in that automatic mode. It's not that. It percolates day-to-day life also when you're interacting. That's how I think Patanjali says that dukkha nivaranam, that's the only, it handles sorrows also, because sorrow is because of our ajnanam. So he says this is the way you can get over it, because it's a repeated practice of thinking about unwanted things, right? Yeah.
Yeah, good. Very nice. Anything in the chat box here? Oh. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasha Hastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.